Flutter is a revolutionary framework that empowers developers to create stunning and high performant applications for multiple platforms, including mobile, web, desktop, using a single code base. With Flutter, you can build beautiful and engaging user interfaces, incorporating animations and special effects, and seamlessly integrate with backend services. Whether you are a seasoned developer or just starting out, Flutter is a game changer that makes it easier than ever to create high quality applications that run on a wide range of devices. In this session on what is Flutter, we will get to know all about Flutter. Now, without wasting much of time, let us get started with the agenda. We will explore what is Flutter, followed by why we use Flutter. Then we will move ahead and see who uses Flutter. Then we will move ahead and see some of the advantages of Flutter, why this Flutter is more unique than other frameworks. Then we will see some of the real-time applications of Flutter. Once we understand all about Flutter, now let us get into the practical implementation by first installing Flutter SDK. And finally, we'll look into a small demo on Hello World program in Flutter. But before we get started, if you like watching videos like this, then I would suggest you to subscribe to our Edureka's YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to never miss any updates from us. And also, if you are interested in Flutter certification course, then click on the link that is given in the description box. Now, let us dive into our first topic in this session, what is Flutter? Flutter is an open source mobile app development framework created by Google. It allows developers to build high performance native compiled applications for mobile, web, and desktop using a single code base. Flutter uses a reactive programming model that allows developers to create user interface that can automatically update themselves when the underlying data changes. It also comes with a set of pre-built widgets and tools that can help developers to create beautiful and highly responsive UIs. One of the key benefits of Flutter is that it allows for fast development cycle and easier maintenance. With Flutter, developers can make changes to the code and see the results immediately without having to restart the entire app. Flutter is also known for its fast development cycle, hot reloading, and ease of use. It also gained a lot of popularity among developers due to its flexibility and robustness. And the main important feature of Flutter is it has a widget based architecture that enables developers to create complex UIs with ease. It has a rich of pre-built widgets that can be customized to fit any design styles. This makes it easy for developers to create apps that are visually stunning and appealing, and also a user-friendly interfaces. Now we have learned what is Flutter. Now let us see why we use Flutter. Flutter offers several benefits that makes it outstanding from other mobile app development frameworks. Now let us see its benefits. The first thing is Dart programming language. Flutter uses Dart, a modern programming language that offers features like AOT compilation, a garbage collector, and a flexible type system. Dart syntax is easy to learn and use. Make it a great choice for developers who are very new to mobile app development. Then we have the reactive programming model. Flutter uses a reactive programming model called widgetry to build its user interfaces. This means that when the data changes, only the affected widget are rebuilt, making it fast and efficient. And the widget tree is also highly customizable and it allows developers to create complex UIs and dynamic user interfaces elements. Then we have the single code base. Flutter uses a single code base for both iOS and Android apps, which means developers can write and maintain a single set of code for multiple platforms. So, this reduces the development time and makes it easier to update and maintain the app across different platforms. Then we have a hot reload feature. It is one of the most popular feature of Flutter. It is a hot reload functionality. So this allows developers to make changes to their code and see the change immediately in the app. So this makes development faster and more efficient as developers can quickly iterate and experiment with their code. Then finally we have the performances. In terms of performances, Flutter uses a high performance rendering engine called Skia, which provides fast and smooth performance on both iOS and Android devices. Flutter apps are also optimized for size, which means they take up less space on user devices. Overall, these technical benefits of Flutter makes it a great choice for mobile app development, especially for the developers who want to create high performance cross-platform apps. Now let us see who uses Flutter. As I said before, Flutter is a mobile app development framework which has a single code base for both iOS and Android devices. So, with this benefit, several well known companies, including Google, Alibaba, and BMW, have adopted Flutter for their mobile app development needs. Google, the creator of Flutter, has been one of the major users of this framework and has developed several of its own apps using it. So other companies have also adopted Flutter because of its fast development cycle and excellent performance and ability to create beautiful and responsive user interfaces. Flutter's popularity has been steadily increasing since its release in 2017. The Flutter's ability to create high quality app with fast development cycle and excellent performance has made it one of the top mobile app development framework in the world. As a result, more and more companies are turning to Flutter to build their mobile apps. So you have a lot of opportunities outside if you have Flutter as one of the mobile app development skill. Now let us see some of the real-time applications of Flutter. See, one of the major implementation of Flutter is on the social network apps. Flutter is ideal for creating social network apps that requires real-time communication, such as the chat and messaging apps, because of its fast development cycle and excellent performances. And then one of the major consuming app, that is your e-commerce app. Flutter is well suited for creating e-commerce app with the complex and customizable UI, such as the shopping carts and product catalogs. Then we have the educational apps. Flutter can be used to create the educational apps with interactive and engaging UI, such as the quizzes and games and many more. Then we have a lot of consumable app is your health and fitness app. This framework is ideal for creating these kind of health and fitness apps that requires a real-time data processing, such as your fitness tracking, your steps counters, and your calorie tracking, and you have many more features in the health and fitness apps. Then finally we have on-demand apps. So Flutter is well suited for creating on-demand apps that requires real-time communication such as the ride sharing and the food delivery apps. So if you think about it, you have a lot of apps such as Uber, Swiggy, Zomato, Ola, etc. So these kind of apps are very often used. Even you will be having these kind of apps in your mobiles. So these kind of apps can be easily built using Flutter framework. So if I want to conclude, Flutter is very powerful mobile app development framework that offers us several advantages including the fast development cycle, and it has a single code base for multiple platforms, and it will offer a beautiful and responsive UIs. So it has a various real-time applications such as the social networking, e-commerce, education, health and fitness, and you have many more apps you can develop using Flutter. So I hope you understood why Flutter is so unique from other frameworks and why it is important and its features and benefits. So with that, let us move on to the practical session. So now let us see how to install Flutter SDK in your system, and let us see a small project on the Hello World app using Flutter. So for that, go to your browser and just type flutter.dev. So if you hit enter, you will get this UI over here. So here you can see the docs here, right? So click on that. So you will get this interface over here and just go here and get started. So we are installing for Windows. So let's go and click on Windows. So if you go here, you will have all the instructions over here for Windows installation, starting from your system requirements. Here we have the operating system. So this is the recommended operating system that you need to have in your PC. So your PC should have at least a Windows 10 or the later version of 64-bit. Then here you have the disk space, so at least of 1.64 GB. So this does not include your IDE, that is your Android Studio or your Visual Studio. So you need to keep the 1.64 GB apart from your IDE tool. So here we have tools. So the Flutter depends on these tools being available in your environment. So the first thing that you need to have is your Windows PowerShell and your Git for Windows. So if you have Windows 10, this will be already pre-installed in the Windows 10 version. So you need not to worry about the Windows PowerShell if you're using Windows 10. Then you need to go and install the Git for Windows. That is very important. So if you click on that link, you will get this UI where we need to install the 64-bit for Windows setup. Click on that and this will get downloaded here. So this is a simple instruction that you can follow. Just read the terms and conditions over here. So then you need to click next and click next. Keep everything as default. So we no need to change anything over here. Here you can change this to override. So then we'll click on next, next, next. So keep everything as default over here. So as you can see, we are installing the Git. Now you can see it has been completed. So click on finish. Now Git has been successfully installed. The next step is to get the Flutter SDK over here. So you can follow the instructions over here. So it says download the following installation bundle to get the latest stable release of the Flutter SDK. So click on this blue button to install Flutter SDK. So if you want to install the older bundles or older build, then you can see the SDK release page over here and you can install the older version that you need for your Flutter apps. So after it gets downloaded, you need to extract the zip file and place the contained Flutter in the desired location for the Flutter SDK. For example, it needs to be in the C folder, source Flutter. So here now you can see it has been downloaded. Now let us click on this. So extract to, I'll click OK. So now it has been extracted successfully. So as you can see, it has been extracted over here. So let us click on this and you will get a lot of files here. So we have downloaded, installed, and we have successfully extracted over there. So if you go and check in the command prompt saying Flutter, so it will tell you Flutter is not recognized because we have not set any environment path over there. So that is why the system does not know there is a file called Flutter. So we can see here, but the system will not understand whenever we use Flutter. So for that, first let us check in this command prompt itself. So let us see whether we are getting the Flutter or not. So let us go here and just type Flutter and hit enter. So as you can see, we have Flutter in the system. It is installed and extracted over here, right? But here you can see the Flutter is not recognized as an internal or external command. For this, I will just copy this file and I will just put here in the C drive just for simplifying. So let us go to Flutter over here, and now let's click on the bin and just copy the path over here. So we have only a simple path here, right? So let us go to environment variable here. Just go to the search bar and just type environment variable. So here you can see the edit environment variable. So here we have two types of variable. One is a system variable and one is the user variable. So we are not going to get into the system variable. So let us only work in the user variable. So here we have path, right? So just click on this. Now let us go and click on new and just paste the path over here and click on OK. Now let us go and check in the command prompt. Type Flutter. So as you can see, Flutter is now recognized. And you can see the common commands over here, the global options. So everything about Flutter you will get over here. So now let us see what Flutter version that we have installed. For that, let's just type Flutter -- version. See, as you can see, the Flutter 3.7.8 version has been installed. Now let us check for the Flutter Doctor. Just type Flutter Doctor over here and hit enter. Now you will get what is installed and what is not installed, and it will give you a proper instructions that you need to follow, and it will say you which is missing or not. So here you can see these kind of dependencies are already installed, and it will tell you the summary over here. The Flutter is installed with the stable version of 3.7.8, and Windows version is also installed. And you can see here Android Studio is not installed or the Visual Studio is not installed. So here in this session we will be only installing the Android Studio. So I'm not going to use the Visual Studio. So let's ignore that for now. So here the Flutter SDK is properly installed and configured. Now let us go and install Android Studio to work on Flutter. So for that, let us go again to the same document. So here you can see the update your path. So that is what we did. We went to the environment variable and we just changed the path Flutter bin over there, right? So after that, you need to go and run the Flutter Doctor to check whatever is missing to install Flutter SDK. So as you can see, we are missing with the Android Studio, right? So let us go and install the Android Studio. So if you just scroll down, you will get an Android Studio setup. So here you will get instructions to install Android Studio. So just click on this link. This will take you to this UI. Just click on the Android Studio and it will be downloaded. So this is the new version, and accept the license and download. So until then, just go here and check what you need to download. So once you download and install Android Studio, then you need to start Android Studio and go through the Android Studio setup wizard. Then you need to run the Flutter Doctor again once you build everything. So if the Flutter cannot locate it, then run this command so that it will set the directory that the Android Studio is to install. Now you can see it is downloaded. Just click on this. So if you click on that, you will get an Android Studio setup. So click next. So here you make sure it is an Android virtual device, because once if you are using emulator, so it will be very efficient if you do Android virtual device. So click next. So if you want to change this location, then you can, but I'll set this as default. So click next, install. So let's wait until this extracts all the files from Android Studio and it will install. Now let us go and click next. Make sure it is checked for Android virtual device, because if you are using emulator, then that is very mandatory to have a virtual device. So click next. Now I am keeping this as a default location. So if you want to change, you can change according to your device. So let me click next. So here let's click install. So as you can see, it is extracting all the files from Android Studio. So it is completed. Let's click next. finish this. Now let us go and check for the Android Studio. So you can see here our Android Studio is being opened. So let's go and create a Flutter project. So here you can see the Flutter SDK path is our old C folder. So let's click next. Let us create a project name, Hello World, and I will click in Java. So everything let it be has a default setting. So here you can see our Flutter is used for all the platforms like Android, iOS, Linux, Mac. So everything, right? Let us click here for create project offline and let's create the project. So it tells us that invalid module name. So this must be valid the dart package name. So it must be in the lowercase with an underscore. Okay, let's do that. So I'll create in a lowercase. Here, let us click create. So as you can see, it is creating a new Flutter project. So here we have a lot of files and folders over here. So the main thing that you need to consider is the lib file, that is your library. Here you have the main.dart. So this is the main file that you will be working on in the entire Flutter app. So this code is already inbuilt with the Android Studio. So if you open any Flutter project, it will give you this code as a default. So if you want to run, so let us create one emulator over here. So let's go for AVD by creating a new device. So let's click on create device. So here you need to select a hardware. So I'll click on phone and I'll choose Pixel 6. Then I'll check for the size over here. Then I'll click next. So here you will have a versions for your Android. So let me click the new version, that is your tiramisu. So it will get downloading. So the SDK component installer is done. So let's click finish. Here you can see the tiramisu has been downloaded. So let's click next. The AVD name is Pixel 6 API 33. So this is our device name. So let's click finish and you can see it is in portrait mode. So you can check all the properties whichever you have clicked previously. So if it is in proper state, then you can click next and finish. So as you can see, it is creating a virtual device. So let's run. So as you can see, we are connecting to the emulator. So as you can see, we have our Pixel 6 here. Here, if you click on this, as you can see here, it will run the Gradle task. So it will compile all the code over here and it will give you output in the form of the emulate. So let's wait. Here, this code has been implemented now. Now, if you look at the output over here, we have the Flutter demo homepage. So that is written over here. So this is the code for that. And you can see here you have pushed the button this many times. So for that, the code is over here. See, as you can see, the code is given over here. Now, if you click on this button, so this will be incremented. So on pressed, so if you press this button, then it will be increment the count and it will give you 1. So it will simply add a number over there. So if you click another time, so this will change to 2. So it will just add another number. So this is what the default code explains you with the example. Now, if I write my own code, for example, I'll write the hello world code. Now let us import the package, that is your flutter slash material.dart. Next, we have the void main. Then we have to run the app, right? So we will give the run app. So let me write. So we have the material app over here. So inside that, I'll just write the home and scaffold. Then we have the app bar. So inside the app bar, I'm going to give the title for the application. So title will be in the form of text. So inside the text, let me type Edureka. So once you have done that, now we have given the app bar. So inside that we have specified some title over there, right? Now let me give the body. So in body, I want this body to be aligned in the center. Then we have the child over there. So child will be also in the form of text. So for that, text. So inside the text, I will just give has welcome to Edureka. So I'll close. So if I want to explain this in a detailed form, so we have to import the package and we need to import the material.dart library from the Flutter. So this library contains a set of reusable UI components that follows the material design guidelines. So that is why we will be importing this material.dart. And then we have the void main over here. So this line declares the main function over here. So if you take a look at the Java function also, we have the main. So even Dart is similar like Java. So you can use this main function, which is the entry point of your Flutter application. And then we have the run app over here. So this line calls the run app function, so which is a material app widget as its argument. So here we have the material app widget, right? So this acts like it's an argument. So this run app function takes a widget and starts the app. Then we have the material app widget. So it creates the material design of the app. So that is why we use the material app. And then we have the home, a scaffold. So here home is a property and of the material app to the scaffold widget. So this scaffold widget is basic widget structured for a material design app, and it provides a framework for creating the app's layout and the navigation. So that is why we use the scaffold over here. Then we have the app bar. As you know, this app bar is a property of the scaffold. So we have inside the scaffold over here, right? Then this app bar widget creates the material apps design of the app bar. So that displays the title. For example, here we have written Edureka, right? So that is why it will give the title over there. And then we have the body. As I said before, this is also a property of the scaffold, and I want this to be in the center. So I have specified their center. And we have the text. So this will display welcome to Edureka. So this is what this code explains. So let me run this and let us check the output. So it is performing a hot restart because we have completely erased our previous code and now we have writing a new code, right? So it is completely restarting the whole app. So you can see we have our output over here. So let me zoom this. We have specified the title as Edureka on, right? So we have the Edureka title over here and we have specified the text, the body has welcome to Edureka. So here you can see we have our output. So this is how a small hello world program or a small front page of your application will look like. So we have get started with the Flutter application. Now you can create your own ideas in a beautiful way. And this Flutter will give you a stunning visualization applications. And it has a pre-built widgets that will help you to create a beautiful application. So I wish you all the very best for your Flutter journey. So if you like videos like this, then I would suggest you to subscribe to our Edureka's YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to never miss any updates from us. And if you like to learn Flutter and want to gain a certification from us, then you can click the link given in the description box. So let's see you in the next video. Until then, happy learning.
I hope you have enjoyed listening to this video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries, and we will reply them at the earliest. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to Edureka channel to learn more. Happy learning!